Good morning, fellow Toastmasters. I hereby call this meeting of Lake Mary Toastmasters Club 6440 to order. Before we begin, please silence your cell phones. All right. I would like to ask everyone to please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please be seated. Our club mission is to provide a supportive learning environment through which members feel empowered to become better public speakers by developing their competent communication and leadership skills. This morning, I would like to introduce our Toastmaster, Miss Julia Kaufman. Good morning, Happy New Year!
Yes.
What does 2017 have in store for you? Have you thought about it? Do you have resolutions? What do you do each time the new year starts? I, for one, think about, I always plan, it's a refresh for me. I sit down and I think about my goals, I look to think about what I accomplished, I look back and I look to the future. And I'm a mixed kind of bag. I believe in fate, I believe in good luck, good fortune, and I also believe that you can create your own fortune, you can create your own good luck. So it's kind of a mixed bag. So I wanted to share with you what I plan to do. One of the things that I am passionate about to do this year, it's been a dream and it's a goal now. It's going to become a reality for me. And that is to play my viola again. So Kerri has inspired me because she is part of the Central Florida Community Arts Orchestra. And so for the last few years, we've talked about, on and off about playing and all of that. And I started going to the concerts, and I remember the joy that I had. I played since I was in elementary all the way through college, and then life caught me, and I haven't played for 25 years.
Wow.
So I told you it was going to be I got my viola out. Hi, Candido.
I think so. Surprise.
So this is my treasured viola. Viola is like a violin, just bigger. It does more harmony. It's got lower strings. It's got a beautiful, rich sound. So I got my viola out, and I noticed that I was missing some strings, especially the G string was missing. So I had it restrung just recently. And then I looked at my bow, and my bow had dilapidated. It's made of horsehair, so this is a brand new bow. So now I'm ready to start my journey to become a violist again. I have a goal that by this time next year, I will come back to this meeting and I will actually play for you. Right now, I can't. It's like riding a bike. I just feel like, oh, I got this. I just have to now practice. So this time next year, I'm going to challenge Kerri to a duet next year. All right, so let's look at our agenda. We have a couple of changes. The theme is what fortune does 2017 hold for you? We have a little special presentation during table topics, so get ready to read your fortune and think about what your fortune means to you. For our changes today, for awe counter, filling in is Jean. Thank you very much. Jean, what is your role as the awe counter?
As awe counter, it is my function to listen to the use of filler words such as ah, you know, so, okay, and other audible pauses as fillers. I will be noting members perform any double clutches, which means to say things twice, such as this means, this means. Finally, I will also include things which might be distracting, such as lip smacks. I will present my report during the evaluation portion of the meeting.
All right, thank you, Jane. Filling in for the grammarian, Stephany, your role, please.
Hey, Stephany.
My role as grammarian is to introduce and encourage the use of the word of the day, which wasn't chosen by me, but it's a good word, proverb. Proverb, you have your definitions on the side of your agenda, and I think everyone knows what a proverb is, and you'll be able to use it somehow when you speak. I will also be listening for incorrect usage of the English language, as well as wonderful, pithy, proverbial sayings. And I'll give my report at the end of the meeting. Oh, it's 25 cents if you speak and don't use the word.
Oh. And then rounding up our technical table is our timer, Miss Kerri Bird.
Okay.
It is my function to time the speakers, evaluators, and tabletop topic participants to ensure they meet the timing requirements. Speeches today are 5 to 7 minutes, so 5, 6, 7. Table topics, 30, 45, and 60 seconds, and our evaluators are 2 minutes, 2.5, and 3 minutes. And I'll give my report.
Thank you, Kerri. I went to the Christmas Eve service at Northland, and this was my first Christmas Eve service in a long time. It was amazing. They had the music and a light show that was amazing. But the sermon wasn't really a sermon, but the talk that the pastor did, he made a comment that I'd like to make into a proverb. He said, "I'm just glad to be here." And I'm like, I love that. Like, I'm just glad to be here. So, fellow Toastmasters, I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to be here with you. And I look forward to hearing what you have to say about your plans and your goals for 2017. We are going to have more time because our first speaker is not here today, which actually works pretty good, because we have a special table topic session that will be led by Phyllis. But first, we're going to go into our first speaking order, and that will be Stacy Bromanek. She's speaking out of the Speaking to Inform manual, an advanced manual, project number, where is it? Project number 3. And it's perfect for this theme today. It is how to keep your New Year's resolutions. Please welcome to the lectern, Ms. Stacy Bromanek.
Well, good morning, fellow Toastmasters and guests. I wanted to welcome everybody because we're going into a new year. So I want to start my speech off with a proverb. The new year stands before us like a chapter in a book, waiting to be written. We can help to write that story by setting goals. Melody B. This morning, I am talking about how to keep your New Year's resolution. And I know a lot of people have a hard time with that. Me included. I tend not to keep my resolutions. I try, I have great intentions, but I don't do it. And I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that. So this morning I'm going to give you 7 steps on keeping your New Year's resolution. The first step I have is to pick a resolution and write it down. For me, that is the hardest because I try to change my whole life in 1 year. It's easier just to choose one resolution and keep to it. In this year, one of my resolutions is to actually keep a handwritten planner. So I bought one yesterday that I could color in because it is one of those coloring. And I have my gel pens on the way. So I'm definitely going to keep that. That's been my goal for the last several years, but I've never kept it. I've bought planners. They get tossed by the end of the year because I never use them. Well, this year I'm going to. So I have picked my one resolution, and I'm going to write it down. Yep. The second step is to plan ahead. Sit down and write down your action plan. That just means, that gives you a plan of what you're going to do and how you're going to keep your resolution. The next step, so step 3, is to anticipate problems. So for me, I know in the past, I get the planners and I don't write in them. And I know in advance that is a problem that I have with a written planner. This year, I'm going to make sure I finally have bought a big enough purse where I can keep everything in my purse. As everybody can see, right here. I have enough room to keep my planner, my Toastmasters books, and everything in it. Your horse. So I'm going to be keeping my planner on me at all times. So that's one way I'm planning ahead and anticipating problems. The fourth step, is to set a start date. So you've written down your action plan, write down the start date. So I'm actually starting it right now. I've already written in my planner because it's one of those, it starts a few months before the beginning of the year. So I sat down last night and started writing down what I had in my phone because, phones crash, you can lose stuff in your phones, and then you're up a creek without a paddle. And you have nothing in your calendar. This way I've picked up the date and I'm starting it and I'm going to keep it on me. And actually step 5 is to go for it.
Just do it.
Yep, just do it and just start following your action plan. It is one of the easiest ways, and just go ahead and dive in. Step 6 is to accept failures. Life happens. I have found that out with my other planners because, like I said, I get these and I think I'm going to use it. I get the nice pens that I'm like, okay, I'm going to use this now. And it gets set down. And it doesn't get used. So I've accepted that failure, but not anymore. And with your resolutions, I think by accepting the failures, once you have made a failure, just to get back and start doing it over again. And finally, plan rewards. So go ahead and go out and party and have fun.
Here.
And at the end of the year, I will be able to say that I have had fun with my planner, using it and coloring in it. And that will make me more motivated. And another way I can treat myself by actually using the planner is to go get a massage.
Oh, here.
Because for me, that is one of my favorite treats when I'm treating myself. But always just make sure you treat yourself and have fun with the resolutions you make. So I want to leave you with this. Just go out, make your resolutions, choose one, and so pick your resolution, plan ahead, anticipate problems, pick your start date, go for it, be able to accept failures, and plan your rewards and have fun. So happy New Year's, everybody, and make those resolutions.
Good advice. Very timely. So we have a minute on the clock, speaking of time, for our informal evaluations. Everyone has a slip. Please fill out one for Stacy, give her your feedback.
1 minute.
Thank you, Kerri. Probably all of you have heard of SMART goals, right? It's an acronym.
Yes.
All right, so SMART ties right in with her speech. Goals setting. It's specific, measurable, agreed, realistic, and time-based. And you apply that to whatever your New Year's resolution, and chances are, actually not chances, because it's not, now you're not keeping it to chance. It will happen because you have written it down and you set a timetable to it, and I'm a big believer of SMART goals, because that's what I do to mine, and 90% of them come true. All right, let's get to our next speaker. She's speaking from the Competent Communications Manual, number 6, vocal variety. This FSU grad, Julie Bucky, will instruct fellow Toastmasters in some of the proud FSU Seminole football traditions. I'm all over that. UCF fan, right? To prepare for the showdown with Michigan, which I'm all over that because I'm also a Ohio State fan.
Oh, yeah.
Go Blue! On the Orange Bowl, December 30th. You too can be a Seminole even for just a day. And she's going to show you how to be a Seminole through the appreciation of a story behind that vocal variety present in all Seminole voices. Please welcome to the lecture, Ms. Julie Bucky.
Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and guests. At the second university north of us, the Florida State University, there is a proud heritage between FSU and the Seminole tribe of Florida. This morning we're going to look at that transition, and we're going to see how that proud heritage was put in place. One of the things we're going to look at today is not only the history of the FSU Seminole tribe partnership, but we're also going to look at some of the elements behind the Seminole sports traditions that have grown out of that partnership. First, let's talk a few of did you knows. Did you know that Florida State University was actually chartered in 1851, became co-ed in 1947, and that was when they adopted the Seminole as their mascot. Conversely, in South Florida, the Seminole tribe was never formally recognized by the federal government until 1957. The two came together in a partnership in 1976 when a famous coach, Bobby Bowden, hit the doors of FSU. He and some collaborators in the boosters decided they were going to give up Seminole Sam, give up Sammy as their mascot, can't imagine that, and go after personification to show the attributes and pay homage to the Seminole tribe, i.e. Chief Osceola. They did so in a very formal way in 2003 by erecting a 31-foot statue commemorating the fact that the Seminole tribe is the only Native American tribe never conquered by the U.S. government. The name of the statue is Unconquered. So therein leads us to our showdown with Michigan. I just learned Martin is alone, so he can lead and Michigan can come back later.
See you next week.
But nonetheless, our showdown with Michigan is this weekend, and so in preparation for that, if you have no affiliation, I'm here to allow you the opportunity to learn how to be a Seminole, if only for one day. If you wear orange, you can also exit the door. We're going to, I deliberately kept this out of Martin's reach. So we can't. All right. So we're going to look at some of the ways that the Seminole partnership with FSU has gotten into their sports and the appreciation of sports. We know the music. Martin even knows the music. And we also know that there are some unique behavioral attributes that come with that music, i.e. the tomahawk chop and the Seminole war chant. This morning you're going to learn two things, how that came into being and how to do it yourself. So, without further ado, let's talk about what happens when the band takes the field for a ball game. 470 plus band members, the Marching Chiefs, flood Bobby Bowden Field in white coats and top hats. They are the largest, numerically largest university band in the country. And this is their introduction. And now the University College of Music proudly presents the world-renowned Florida State University Marching Chiefs. And with that, everybody erupts into applause and cheers as the band takes the lead. Now, the war chant is a little bit less stellar in its creation. And as you might guess, it was actually promoted by a fraternity cop, heaven forbid, at Florida State. In 1983, a gentleman by the name of Rob Sweat Hall from West Palm Beach was seated with his frat buddies next to the band. Theta Chi always got group seating, so he got really bored. He said, this band is just doing this. The drum. He said, that can't go. So he sat there holding his drink because it was the days before bag check at the door. And he's holding his drink and he's going, oh. And then he said, hi. And his buddies looked at him and they thought, he sings country music, we're going to join in. So everybody in the stadium that could hear him and his buddies looked at him and said, those guys are obviously drunk. That was 1983. 1984, fast forward, other frat guys have adopted the same sound. So when Rob starts it up this year, this season, they join in. So do pockets of the students. And by 1985, the Seminole War Chant and the tomahawk chop that goes with it was in place, regardless of what the Atlanta Braves and the Kansas City Chiefs try to tell you. Now, I'd like for you to grab your bottle in your left hand. Take your coffee, Martin, your exam. Take your coffee. And we're going to learn how to do the war chant. You start with your right hand over your right shoulder, knife edge of hand. Go forward on the whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa. Thank you. You did an excellent job. You can tell the hands. Win or lose, the Seminole Nation will have our drinks in our left hand. We will be doing the tomahawk chop and the chant on New Year's Eve, and on New Year's Day. Madam Toastmaster, Happy New Year!
All right. Next time the Knights and the Seminoles get together, we'll have the Knights in them. That should be an interesting
That
deal.
will be interesting.
All right, 1 minute on the clock for informal evaluations for Julia and her chant. All right, thank you, Kerri. We are doing well with our time, which makes it perfect for table topics. We're going to mix it up a little bit, because you noticed I asked about fortune, and you see there's a fortune cookie on your agenda. Chinese fortune cookies. It actually should be called an American fortune cookie, because that's how it got derived. But over time, it's become an American Chinese tradition that we have fortune cookies. So I bring you today some homemade fortune cookies, don't judge. There are some messages in there, and Phyllis is going to take you through.
Everybody can take two, right?
Everybody can take two, take a red and a green, one of each. Yeah.
Hold off on opening.
Yep, you don't open yet. She's going to take you through what we're going to do today. We're going to have a little fun with our fortune cookies. This might give you some fame, fortune, good advice, hidden secrets, hidden messages. Just don't know.
That's what
So
I'm.
you open it. Your lucky number.
Pass it out. Y'all need some
Okay, now you take two, Phyllis. I get my two. Everybody got two? And this is for you, for taking on that role.
Look at that.
She's going to show you how we're going to run this, and she'll take you through it with her first fortune. So let's welcome our Toastmaster Phyllis Harley.
Okay, so everybody has one, they actually have special coding, not just the decorative Christmas. So if you take a look at them, you choose which one you want to do, and then I'm gonna pick your name, pick you, whoever I pick first, and you're gonna open one of your fortunes, and there you go.
You're going to read it, and that's your table topics, because now you talk about it.
Uh-huh. And why don't we start with, Lori, I don't think you have a topic. I don't think you have a job, sorry.
Okay, just choose whichever one.
Whichever one you want to go for.
Okay. You were born with the skill to communicate with people easily.
And that's what you talk about.
Thank you, Madam Table Topics Master, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Fortune cookies are my favorite. When my children were little, they, of course, before they could read, we would get fortune cookies and they would open them up and they'd say, "Mom, read my fortune." And it was the funniest thing because every time they broke it open, it said the same thing. "You have the most amazing mom," or something. Your mom is so awesome. Your mom rocks. And then, one year, didn't realize my Zach could read. I opened it up and I said, "Your mom is amazing." And he went, "That says your lucky number is 7. Have you been tricking us this whole time?" So being able to communicate with people easily only works if they can't read.
Okay, our next speaker, let's go with Bob. Better can you, Bob?
We can eat these, right?
Yeah.
After speak,
Eat them at your own risk.
This says, "My wife is amazing."
Smart. Fact check.
I need the points, guys, please. Those who have love have wealth beyond measure. Yes, because there is no way to put a financial value on love because it's not measurable financially. It's based solely upon the heart, not the wallet.
Next up, we have Gus.
All right, Gus. I go with green, close to Christmas. Good things are being said about you. Good things are being said about you. Madam Table Topics, fellow Toastmasters and guests. This can be a proverb. Thank you.
Oh,
problem.
Not a problem. Whenever people are saying good things about you, try to find which one of those are your enemies. Because your enemies may be saying things about you. You think it's good, but that is the way they are finding to get into you, to hear what everybody says about you, and then they can turn that around. And I think that is a very good example we see in the beginning in creation. God made everything good, and then Satan said, did he really say that? So when people are saying good things about you, find out if they are turning that around for their own benefit. However, whenever someone says something good about you, please accept their compliments. Thank you, Madam.
Excellent. Okay, our next table topic speaker is going to be Stephen.
Nature, time, and patience are the three best physicians. I would have to say that's because they're on the best plan available right now. The cheapest one you can find. And with the premiums as they're going, it's nice to say that they've managed to keep theirs down beyond the rest. The sad part is that eventually time tends to come along and make you pay up in some fashion or form. Whether or not you're patient will, well, everyone has to be a patient of time, I suppose. As it is human nature, we all have the opportunity to learn and grow, but we also have to figure out how to take care of ourselves along the way. Something that's apparently we don't learn very well because we're bothering to listen to all the things being said on the media, which is probably why it's best just to avoid that altogether. You'll be a lot healthier one way or the other.
Okay, we're down to three more who have not had jobs today, so we'll go with Candido. Just be prepared that you might, even if you have a job today.
Oh, yeah.
Candido, that's fine. I just
Let me open up my first prize. Life is not a box of chocolate. It's more like a jar of jalapeno. What you do today might burn your ass tomorrow. This is my fortune. Let me do it. I made that up. So, good fortunes are in the store for you. Toastmasters scratch off. Oh, I won.
Whoa, look at that.
Say. So I won.
You want to scratch off?
Oh, really?
Oh,
Do I still have to go on?
Scratch
You can tell us a little
No,
bit about it.
you can open the green one.
Oh,
You
the
can
green one?
open your green one and
Let me do my fortune again.
We should open the red ones.
Life is hard. It actually kills you. I'm just kidding. A single kind word will keep one word for years. Oh, that's kind of profound to me. What is it? A single word, kind word will keep one word for years. Absolutely. Remember power words. When they try to say power words to you, for example, you look scintillating, even though you're not actually feel that way. Power words actually keeps you motivated, and that's one of the power. That's one of the power of communication. Communication, we can make a person's life inspired, or we can destroy his life with words. So thank you so much.
next up, let's go with James.
Okay, pick the green because green reminds me of money. I think I stick with the strip. Better than proverb. Your greatest fortune is the large number of friends you have. That is wonderful and a true statement. It's nothing like having a room full of friends, because good friends are very hard to find. I had one friend from college that we've been friends since 1966. We talk once a week, even now. He calls me all the time. They get a drink phone, by the way.
That's why I talk to you.
They talk to me. So good friends are really, really hard to find. They're very rare. They're valuable. Whenever you have a problem, it's nice to be able to pick up the phone and call a friend. Mary Toastmasters.
All right, next up we have, oh, actually Martin's working on something, but let's go ahead and go with Kerri. We'll time you. I got it.
Good fortunes are in store. Let's track up.
Yay.
While you're picking that, you can go ahead and open your green one.
May life throw you a pleasant curve.
Yeah.
That'd be great. It'd also be great if I could actually work on a curve for my softball playing, but that's a whole other thing. I look forward to whatever things become. You never know. One of the biggest curves that happened for me actually was my husband. He was the one that actually found CFC Arts. And that has been now part of my life for 3 years. So.
Wow.
That's awesome.
And going definitely out of sync, I will choose myself next. And mine is, ooh, longer one. If you want the rainbow, you must put up with the rain. D. Parton. Dolly Parton, that sounds like something she would say. If you want the rainbow, you must put up with the rain. I am one of those few people, probably even fewer living in Florida, who loves the rain. I love it when it's cloudy. My sister lives out in Portland, Oregon, and if Portland, Oregon was on the East Coast, my husband and I would probably have already moved there just because we love the cloudy darkness of it all. It's probably why I'm also vitamin D deficient. However, I totally believe that, and it also has linked with my farming intentions, is because I know that is what creates all the things that we want to grow and eat. So I am definitely a believer in, if you want to see the rainbow, if you want to see the good, you have to deal with the negative as well. All right. Okay, next up, Julia would be ready to grace us a second time with speaking? Sure. Sorry. Pick one. Pick one.
This actually could come from Proverbs. In the end, there are 3 things that last: faith, hope, and love. And the greatest of these is love. I echo what Bob said earlier. Love comes from the heart.
Man, you just want somebody to help.
Love comes from the heart. It can't be manufactured. It can't be bought. It can only be given, and given freely, and received in turn. And what an obvious message for all of us to start 2017.
All right. Martin, would you like to be next?
Sure.
Whether you want to or not?
All right, I pick red. Your ability to juggle many tasks will take you far.
Ah.
Interesting. For I believe one of the worst habits that we could possibly enter into for the year 2017 is to believe that we can multitask. As many studies have shown, it's better off to pay attention to one thing at a time than try to juggle several things in your head. So I, for one, will be taking the opposite road on this thing. Just my 2 cents.
Okay, who hasn't had a chance to go yet? Stacy, would you like to go?
Yes.
pick in your smile and firmness in your handshake. That is a really good fortune because a smile can bring a lot to a person's life. If you just smile at them, it can make them happier. And so, there you go.
All right, it's actually time to move on to the next, but I think Jean and Stephany, would you guys like to take a go? Jean?
We have
Yeah.
time.
Sure.
We have time.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, we have one less evaluation to do, don't we?
Oh, I have a scratch off. Good fortunes are in store for you.
You get to do the green
The
ones,
next
too?
one.
Yeah, get your green one.
These all, yeah, okay. Happy news is on its way to you.
Yes.
Well, I'm pretty happy to hear that. Well, I would say that one should try to turn any news that comes to you into some kind of happy news and try to see the happiness in any news that comes to you. Of course, that's not always possible, but one should have a good, I'll work too for myself, outlook on the news that comes to you.
And last but not least, Stephany.
You know I don't really do this stuff, right? Excitement and intrigue follow you closely wherever you go.
Tell us.
Yes.
And intrigue. Perhaps 30 or 40 years ago, this might have been true. Excitement and intrigue. Well, at one time in my life, that might have been true. I thrived on being different, being an enigma, doing my own thing. I never followed the crowd. I did whatever I thought was fun and pleasing to myself. And people liked that. We did wild things. We would be driving along, hear our favorite song, jump out the car, dance in the middle of the street, just hold up traffic. The police would just shake their head and just leave us alone. We'd have a good time. We'd get the other cars and get the people out. We'd just start dancing in the street. I even did it on a bridge once. I don't recommend that. Your heels get stuck in the gratings and what have you. Can break your ankle. Lots of fun things I've done, a lot of stupid things I've done, but I've had a good time along the way, and I look forward to having a good time, a little bit more sedately, 2017.
And Lynn, I know you're a guest, but you are a soon-to-be Toastmaster. Would you like to go ahead and?
The green one. Only because green is not my favorite color, but 2017 will do something different, right?
Yeah.
Our first and last love is self-love. Our first and last love is self-love. I guess in a way that's a proverb. And if you can't love yourself and look at yourself in a good light, it's difficult to project that, I think, and love other people. So that's important.
Thank you.
All right, with that, and everyone having an opportunity to speak, I will turn it back over and thank Julia for coming up with this wonderful idea.
Why don't we go ahead and, if you haven't opened your red one, open it and let me know if you get a scratch off. All right, we have not all the red ones are scratch offs. So might be a lucky winner. All right.
Oh. What year are you doing?
I got a scratch off.
All right.
I didn't know it was a scratch off.
I got a laminated one.
Yeah, it does.
Might be Maybe you're fortunate. Anybody else
Sitting
want?
on your ticket.
All right.
Thank you, Julia, well done.
Yeah, you better get it.
This one is
Mine surprise box.
I'm gonna come up with some creative ideas.
I'm walking on it.
Play area right now.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Happy New Year, everybody.
Thank you.
Yay.
Scratch it off on the
All
news.
right, now it's our educational section of our meeting, and please welcome your general evaluator for this morning, Ms. Lori Richards.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Yes, yes.
As Julia mentioned, we are at the educational portion of our meeting where we can get our formal feedback, or our speakers will get their formal feedback on the projects that they did. So, without further ado,
I don't want to see that.
let us, I don't want to say that, sorry. Okay. You can mark it. Yeah, I'm trying to think of something else to say besides without further ado. Okay, so oh wait, who's the evaluator? Oh wait,
Stephany.
sorry, Martin Bell. Martin Bell.
Thank you, Lori, and Merry Christmas and Happy Hanukkah to all. I also will be joining the Community Arts Choir next year as a singer. Last Christmas, I gave you my heart. And hominem to George Michael, and as Stacy started out with a proverb today, I will do so with a proverb from Frank Sinatra, who wrote in a letter to George Michael in 1990, when George Michael was starting to become a global pop star. Frank Sinatra said in a letter to George Michael, "Talent must not be wasted. Those who have it must hug it, embrace it, nurture it, and share it, lest it be taken away from you as fast as it was loaned to you." How about that? No. Stacy, today you projected a demonstration on how we can all keep our New Year's resolutions in 7 steps. And I thought you came out with a very relevant topic, interested all of us, as we were all interested, right? We're paying close attention throughout your speech. So very relevant and timely. I, in fact, was in Office Depot looking for planners yesterday. And if you don't mind sharing, I'm not sure how much this may cost, but you cannot find a decent planner for under $15.
That was actually $7.50. Barnes & Noble's is half off.
There we go. Barnes & Nobles, everybody. Barnes & Nobles. Forget Office Depot. So I thought your demonstration was great and being relevant and timely. Also, in terms of making each part of the demonstration clear and specific, I thought you did a great job as you kept a slow and clear tone, which allowed all of us to absorb each of the 7 steps. I won't go through them all, but I think everybody had the opportunity to think about them, to write them down. In fact, you brought out the planner, showing the planner, and then you brought out your piece of luggage here, which you are carrying with you or projecting on your horse. That was very good, a great choice there with demonstrating both of these. And I thought perhaps, just in terms of maybe a couple of suggestions, you may have also included a flip chart or maybe an easel or something else for us to take a look at as you were going through each of the 7 steps and providing examples in that type of setting. Other than that, this was a great reminder for all of us, very timely, and I hope we can all put our thoughts and our wishes that we have in our heads into more than just words on a page and some action steps that you clearly described. So great job, Stacy.
before we bring up our next evaluator, James, I wanted to just point out that, well, there's a proverb. It goes, it says, a faithful friend who can find, something along those lines. And I noticed that when Julia was giving her speech, there's a faithful few over here that are not participating. Apparently they are of that persuasion.
The schizophrenics.
Oh, my God.
It's like, okay.
Let's hear from James.
Fellow Toastmasters, guests, and Julia. Thank you for your input. I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to be anywhere. I'm just glad to be. That's a proverb. Okay. Whoa. That was good. I was entertaining. I loved your speech. In speech number 6, you need to, you must bring together everything you learned from 1 through 6. You did the icebreaker. You were organized. You got to the point in the very beginning. You said it clear. And you had great body language. In fact, that was like the theme of your speech. Great body language. And your point beginning out how FSU, or how our proud heritage was put together. You began to demonstrate that. You used great word pictures, hit the door, give it up, unconquered, showdown. You demonstrated all your body language. You walked around and you showed us. All that was very, very clear. And then you tell us we were going to learn 2 things. That was good. And you said, now number 1. I never heard number 2, maybe I missed it. But it got my attention. I checked off in vocal variety, volume, pitch, rate, and quality. And how you emphasize main points, you emphasized very good. You took a breath, you punctuated, and you got our attention very well. I rated you good in pitch and rate and quality. Improvement that I recommend that you take it as a challenge to work on volume. I want to hear you whisper. Whisper always brings your audience in close. Everybody starts listening. They say, yes, this is it. Your volume was almost the same rate. You had pitch again, you had rate, you had quality. Challenge you to work on the volume. And you had a good choice of your demonstration when you gave us the call. That was fantastic. You accomplished this task over and above. Appreciate it. Thanks. Waiting for your next speech.
All right.
Now let's move on to our technical table report. Let's start with our timer, Kerri Bird.
Our speeches, Stacy had 5 to 7 minutes, it was 6:15, and Julie also had 5 to 7 minutes, and it was 6:42. Table topics. Lori, 54 seconds. Bob, 29. Gus, 64. Stephen, 1 minute. Candido, 1 minute, 29 seconds. James, 53. Kerri, 54. Phyllis, 47. Julia, 35. Martin, 30. Stacy, 19. Jean, 50. Stephany, 1 minute, 30 seconds. Lynn, 26 seconds. And our evaluators, Martin had 3 minutes, 5 seconds, and James was 2 minutes, 46 seconds.
All right. Let's see. Awkward or strange language, or downright wrong language. So, Julia, it was cute. She said a mixed kind of bag, but the one that I really liked, she said my bow had dilapidated. And you mean it had become dilapidated, because I was wondering, okay. And Stacy, once you have made a failure, I would have experienced maybe perhaps a failure. Julie, that is, when you started off, you were going to tell us about the, I think you meant to say transition. You said transition, you meant tradition, right? Okay. And Stacy, 7 steps, that's great. Pastor Gus, finding to get to hear something they can turn around, we'll turn around. All right, word of the day. Julia, Stacy, Julie. You had a lot of colorful language. A little bit less stellar, you were talking about Duarte, and I like that, up the creek without a paddle. Now, that is a cliche, but we don't hear it that much, so that was okay. Unique attributes, I like that. James, you used the word of the day, I think once when you did your table topics, and then again, I'll get to that. Lynn, you used the word of the day, thank you. Lori, you used the word of the day. Martin, you used the word of the day twice, I believe, with a lot of greats and variants. And James, you used it again with some more very varies and very good and very well. And the faith, hope, and love, it's from 1 Corinthians 13. So it is in the Bible. It wasn't in Proverbs, but it's in the Bible. Well, that's my report. And I use the word of the day once. That's it. Everybody else can report?
Jean, our counter.
I thought you used the word of the day, so I'll open with a proverb. Oliver in the home said, "Speak clearly, if at all. Carve every word before you let it fall."
Right.
Stacy had 8 sows and 1 double clutch. Julia Kaufman, 2 sows and 1 da-da, da-da, da-da.
You got that.
Kerri, 1 ah. Julia Bucky, 1 sow, 1 double clutch. Phyllis, 1 sow. Lori, 1 and 1 sow. Bob clean, Gus clean, Stephen clean, Candido clean, James 1 or Martin Bell 9 uhs. Jean 2 uhs. Lynn clean. Thank you. That's very good.
That's a really great meeting, Julia. I'm kind of dorky like that, where I love planners, I love looking ahead, I love all of these things, and just, I sat there going, oh my gosh, what a great meeting.
You only like the Seminoles.
What's that?
But you only like the Seminoles.
Yeah, but I love to. As far as club business, Candido back there doing his little.
I learned from you. Come on.
Our guest, Lynn, so thank you again for being here. You've mentioned something about this is your last time as being a guest?
Yeah, because I am going to join.
Awesome, thanks, Lynn. And for the officers and anyone else that's interested, we have a TLI training on the 7th of January, which is a Saturday, down at Calvary Chapel. If you book it online today, it's only $8. It includes all the training, lunch, and a continental breakfast. If you wait and book it, if you go there and pay, it's $10. So it's still very reasonable. You can't get 2 meals for under $10 and get training, and we need it for our officers need to get trained. So that's part of our stuff that we need. So everybody, please sign up. That would be awesome. Does anyone else have any other announcements? I don't have the schedule, so I'll have to send that out. Anybody else have anything? No? Then we are done on time. Meeting is adjourned.
This is it, right?
I did the gavel right as it went 30.
That's why I appended all this.
Yeah,